Oh, hello. It's your cell. Yep. It's my cell. How are you keeping? Oh, look at that wee beastie. So, where are we? Well, we're on Culloden battlefield. It's about 11:45. It's Friday the 17th of April, and yesterday was the 280th anniversary of the actual battle here. So we're going to make our way out to the cairn where Jim Singer of Crantara has organised the commemoration, as he does every year. So let's go and see.
Just Paul Anderson, he'll tell you about his songs, his tunes, his own words, which hopefully you understand, he's not like himself. Thanks, Jim. Yeah. I'm going to play 20 tunes. First thing is an all tune dates for the contemporary with the battle. It's called Morun Dialogue, which is a lament written by a woman for her husband who was killed at Culloden. He was a Chisholm of Strathglass. That's an old tune. This is a mere modern, but it's one of my own tunes actually. I suppose I wrote this. I was in Inverness and Scotland, filmed the boy here, and it was a hot day. I kind of feel it was maybe very like very good day in the platform. The rain was coming in sideways, very so when I came that night, I wrote this tune with the bloody field in Culloden. So simply feeling it.
And the last call to play me out on this.
Promoting Scotland. Ted, Christopher does exactly the same. And likewise, he'll tell you about the song he wrote and explain it himself.
This weather's great for tuning. Don't know the story of this song. We've been coming here for many years and used to carry burning torches onto the battlefield. Some of these ones that are here tonight are they had a limited life, and by the time that the ceremony here was finished, the torches had burned out. And one year we were walking off the battlefield in darkness, and one of the men happened to say to the guy who was next to him, he said, "Do you think the young men that lie here appreciate the camaraderie here?" And just as he said that, all the torches burst back into flames again. So I wrote this song to go through that flame. Good morning, my friend. You do not stand here alone, but it warms our old hearts. Come to kneel beside the stone. The brave Frasers fell on that day sent from hell. The nation snuffed out our flame, but in you today I see flickers once again. It's a flame that will roar the cry of freedom if you just hold it to the sky. For there's 1,000 years of Scottish souls, each one holding high freedom's flame in Scotland's name. Hold it high, hold it high. As long as there remain 100, our flame will never die. We came here not knowing how we'd feel among these stones, just to lay some sprigs of heaven for those brave men long gone. Now as the teardrops fall on the wind, I hear a call for Scotland, and a burning pride engulfs us all. The flame that roars the cry of freedom as we hold it to the sky. For there's 1,000 years of Scottish souls, each one holding high freedom's flame in Scotland's name. Hold it high, hold it high, as long as there remain 100. cinema and watching graphic and gory scenes of battles. And sometimes maybe even being, it wasn't like that. It wasn't comfortable with a box of popcorn, munching away when you'd had a meal earlier that day. Real battles for places like this, weather like this and worse, freezing, wet, men suffering from hunger and possibly never having eaten for days, terrified of what was about to happen, if not for themselves, certainly terrified for what would happen to their families if they didn't come home. That's the reason that we come every year, to remember guys who made a sacrifice for a cause that they believe in. We will walk off this battlefield to warm and dry vehicles. They lie beneath us. But we'll come back again every year to remember them, to once again get the reinforcement that what we believe is worth fighting for. Next month we have the chance, without violence, to carry that fight forward. Carpe diem.
Just said.
Like I said, to come forward to lay our wreath, and anybody else who wants to lay flowers as a mark of respect. I step forward, just if you want to say on behalf of who you're laying them for, just yourself or a mark of respect, anything you want. Have you got time for meetings if I don't for today? Aye, we're not quite finished yet. I've still got a bit to do yet. Who's underneath us, and think of our own who's passed away, David Murdoch, Stuart Connor, Donald McCaskill. They're all patriots, all did a bit for Scotland. So think of them as well as though that fought for Scotland under our feet. A minute's silence, please. As a service is to James Reid. Now, the name of James Reid might not mean a lot to a lot of people. Some people might never heard of him. He was a piper in 1746 and he was the only piper executed for being a piper. I did a bit of research in the background of him after reading an article in the Piping Times of 1989 by Thomas Pearston, who suggests that James Reid should be commemorated in an appropriate manner. Now, it was only when I read about, come forward, Alan, yeah, how it relates to today from 1746.
You have another Doric speaker, I'm afraid. It's funny to think the trial of James Reid 200 years ago would still have any relevance today. However, not as long as 30 years ago it did. In 1996, a man known as Mr. David Brooks, a self-styled Cockney piper from 49 Grove Place in London, whose home overlooked Hampstead Heath, was taken to Magistrates' Court for playing his bagpipes on an open space on Hampstead Heath. He ignored numerous attempts to stop him after some resident complaints. He played the pipes every day for 15 years and had even been offered slots of an hour between 9 to 10 on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday at the Parliament Hill bandstand, which he did for another further 24 years. The City of London Corporation even tried to move him 100 yards away from the mound to a more isolated spot. Under a Victorian Act forbidding the playing of musical instruments, Mr. Brooks, representing himself, then speaking outside the court, denied the charge that he had played a musical instrument and pled not guilty by claiming that the pipes were not a musical instrument but a weapon of war, citing the case of James Reid in 1746 as a precedent. He claimed further that if the bagpipes were banned as a musical instrument in the insurrection after the 1745 uprising, how could they be a musical instrument? Additionally, Mr. Brooks, who played the pipes in the film Loch Ness, as well as clear playing and backing for numerous A-list celebrities, originally had an agreement with the Greater London Council, which used to control the Heath. Mr. Brooks said that the corporation had a difficult job in handling complaints about his playing, but he added that there was worse things to go on, such as aeroplanes, transistor radios, mutilation, rape and occasional murder. The playing of the pipes is one of the lesser offences going on. Despite widespread support and a 2,500 strong petition, and apparently little opposition to his performance at the time, needless to say, the verdict was unanimous and he was ordered to pay £95 for his prosecution. The pipes were a musical instrument, returning them from a weapon of war to its rightful place as a musical instrument. At least he didn't meet the same fate as James Reid and end up on the gallows. After reading this article, there was an attempt to track down Mr. Brooks, but found out he had unfortunately passed away at his home on May the 8th, 2020, aged 72. His family are hoping to have a plaque installed on the bandstand at Parliament Hill and scattering his ashes over the heath. So anyone that's ever in the vicinity of Hampstead Heath, pay a visit to the bandstand, and also if you were in York, to visit Tyburn to commemorate James Reid himself.
The clans gathered at Culloden Cairn to remember the time that should not be forgotten. As young men from the land, farmers, labourers, poor and trodden, we go to stand for a Prince of Scotland. His right to be on the throne, Stuart born, he tried to claim what was taken. Then on Culloden Moor, the last attempt to change the face of a Highland race. Many a proved brave gave their life for their dream and their well-being. Let no more blood be shed on the cotton thistle. Memories of old, where our ancestors stood to give
their blood for the young prince. The loyal clans would fall under Ramosi Moor, 1,200 men slain by the Hanoverian. That hour of dread, blood was shed on the cotton thistle. Blood was shed on the cotton thistle. The young pretender did not surrender, but he fled to Barracrusta, to the Isle of Skye, as Betty Burke, Flora MacDonald's maid. To save his life, was he a coward or was he brave? Would you do the same to save your own skin? But the aftermath was worse. It was a bloodbath, and the Highland clearances was on, as all the Jacobites would be gone. Men, women, children, hanged in their homes, even set on fire. Jacobites are now gone, and this new generation comes along. There will be no more war in Culloden Moor, but with a pen the population will strike again in the battle of the ballot box, where no blood will be shed, but our anger and rage will be exchanged in a positive wave, as the children of a dying nation will continue to fight for our freedom, Scotland's salvation and liberation. There will be no more blood shed on the cotton thistle. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. The hands are feeling warm anyway. I didn't envy the musicians tonight for playing. Like I say, we've been going on here for like Outlander Cave to the Fore. So maybe they got a bit of inspiration for us coming on here, meeting as rebels and things like that. But James, your pipe us out, or pipe the tune.
Thanks Jim for inviting me down here tonight.
Fantastic pipe out, James.
Glad I haven't been arrested or hunted down for my piping yet. I would just like to conclude tonight's service with a lament called Flowers in the Forest.
Nice one.
Blowing my fingers. Hope with it.
just like to once thank you all again for coming. The deepest respect to you all for coming out at this time of night.